So hotel chains used to live and die by reliability, consistency, because that's what's created the value for the brand name on the building, that you could book a room there and trust it. And that is what hotel chains thrived by or suffered from, a lack of consistency. But today, that's not really what's going on. Things have changed in the hotel business. And it's led by hotel operators no longer owning their rooms. They are selling brands to people, trying to shift the cost of building a building, managing it, and the risk of making or losing money onto the owner of a hotel location, not themselves. So they are only in the business of growing room count, because they then get royalty fees for every dollar of revenue that is booked at a hotel with their name on them. So they have a direct marketplace incentive that is anti-consumer. The hotel chain, Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, IHG, any of them, their incentive is not on enforcing standards of quality. Their incentive is on getting as many rooms under a brand name that they own, that they then receive the royalty fees from. The CEO of Marriott last year said net unit growth, that's number of rooms under Marriott brand names, will probably be on my tombstone one day. And he talked about wanting to capture 100% of our guests' travel wallet, that it's all about net room growth, which he said just a few months ago in another speech, that that's what it's about. And it's not just Marriott, but Marriott's the biggest player. And View from the Wing wrote a story that then's gotten a lot of play since, about somebody who pulled out the sofa bed in a Marriott branded property and found rotting baby rats in the sofa. There was terrible smell in the room, and they couldn't figure out what it was. And then they were pulling out the sleeper sofa, and there were all the rats. So a rat apparently had given birth in the sofa, and the dead babies were there still rotting away. So the hotel offered nothing other than a different room. Marriott, when they complained to Marriott, gave them a big fat nothing. I've seen the pictures. They were disgusting. They were posted by the guest.
I'm glad that they were wiped before I got to see them. It's just awful.
But anyway, the funny thing, what do people do to try to make a story go away? And this is why I especially want to talk about what happened here. Marriott must have entered into some NDA with, non-disclosure agreement with the couple, because now the pictures are gone. I'm sure somebody's captured one and posted it somewhere.
I'll look.
But
no, I don't want to
look. No, you don't want to look.
I don't want to look, no.
Because I don't get grossed out by stuff. It was pretty nasty looking at that picture of the carcasses of the dead rats. But this is the core of the problem. In capitalism, things work best when everybody's interests are aligned, including the customer. These hotel chains have no skin in the game. All they get money from is getting as many room nights under their flag, they call it flag, and having as many keys, that's what they call, each room is a key, that they're getting revenue from people, but not carrying the risk of the hotels. So this is why it's so very important that you, when you are booking a hotel, don't trust the name that it's showing of where you be staying on the reservation. Go read reviews. And by the way, if you get good at reading reviews, you can tell which ones are fake. Somebody was paid to write positive or negative reviews or whatever. I mean, I read reviews all the time. I can tell when one's fake. And any review that uses the word brilliant in it, don't trust that either. I'm not going to say again why that is. Oh, yeah, I sure will. Let's see how many British-born citizens I can upset. British love using the word brilliant. And their standards for hotels are generally, they're not as choosy as other people are around the world I've experienced. And so if you see brilliant in a review, you ignore that one too, even if it's a honest, legit review from somebody. So now I've said it. But the thing is with the hotels, I no longer have any faith in that name. Any name. Except if we stay in a very, very fancy place for a special occasion. But even then, I read the reviews thoroughly. And you should too, because it's your money. And by the way, if you do have a problem with any travel supplier, the time to solve a problem is when it's happening, not after the fact. Because unless you become a media story, like this thing did about the Marriott with the rats, unless it becomes a media story, you're put on ignore permanently. And that's a problem.
I did just do some Googling and
you couldn't resist.
I didn't find those photos, but I found other photos in hotels of rats like floating in pools and all this other stuff.
Wait, there's a picture of it. I just found one.
Oh, that's nasty. That's nasty. That's so gross. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Okay, so also to marketing geniuses at Marriott, if you have a disgusting situation like that, solve it before it becomes a media problem. How about that?